Welcome to Sustainable St Albans Thermal Camera Tutorial. This is the FLIR E6 Thermal Imaging Camera. I will now go through the various stages of operation. The first button is the power on button just here where my finger is. So I'll press that on. The FLIR is now powering up. As you can see, it's now loaded up, and if we just flip the camera around, then we can see the lens. So to open up the lens, there's a little sliding tab just underneath, and you just slide it across and the lens opens up and shuts as so. So we'll leave it open as we want to try it out, and it's not reading much because it's just a wooden table I'm in front of, and you need to be a bit further away, usually about a meter and a half from the subject to get a good reading, and also for the context. If we're pointing the camera at something and we want to save it on the screen, then we press the trigger button, which is just here. I've just pressed it now. I'll press it again and it'll take a snapshot. If we press that play button, that'll bring up the images that have been taken so far. And the most recent one was the FLIR 0008. So we use this is up, down, left and right. And so when it's surrounded in grey, it's selecting it. So if we press the center button, it'll come up with that image. And on that image, you can see the temperature in the top left. There's the temperature of the surface rather, but it's where the cursor is. And on the right hand side, you can see 23.1 degrees, and that is the peak temperature of that surface, and also the lowest temperature, which is 19.1 degrees. Press this button again, it'll go back. We're back on the live picture. You press this button again, you can also press the back button. That'll also do the same function. For changing any of these settings on the camera, and you press the middle button, you can run through the different modes. So we've got settings, image mode, measurement, color, and temperature scale. So if we go to settings, we can see measurement parameters, and you have various different settings you can set here. Distance, that's distance away from the object, and camera temperature range. You have these parameters that you can put in place. So if you know that the temperature will be between a set amount, you can select it. We shouldn't have 10 degrees because we want to check anything that's letting air in when it's cold outside, so I would stay with the -20 to 250. The device settings, that should be fine as they are, and you keep pressing left and it'll go back to the camera screen. If you press that again and we go to image mode, then it has different modes. So camera obviously has the infrared sensor, and it also has the camera. And the camera and the sensor work together to try and bring greater clarity, which is why you can partly see the grains in this wood. The thermal mode, as you can see, it changes it quite dramatically. So if I then toggle back quickly, you can see quite a dramatic difference. And so it's up to you to decide which you prefer, but I usually prefer that hybrid thermal MSX mode because it provides some context, it provides greater clarity because it uses the camera built in, the digital camera built in, to see what's in front of you as well as superimposing that infrared sensor. You've got the other one, which is picture-in-picture, which just has the general camera image on the perimeter, and then the thermal, and then it's similar mode to the first mode, and then that's just the camera on its own. The measurement function, this dynamically changes where the cursor is, and it's sort of pointing to the hottest parts of the image. Now, if you do it to the cold spot, which is quite useful, it's dynamically looking for the coldest part of the image. So this might be useful in trying to work out where that 17 degrees is if you look at the bottom right hand scale. That one just toggles off the center spot. It just gives you the whole picture without any indicative temperature of where the spot is, so I wouldn't use this mode. I would stick to either the cold spot or the center spot. Center spot gives you that 20.2, 20.3 measurement in the top left-hand corner. You can also see at the top left there's a battery icon just to the right of it, and to the right of that is a memory space icon. We toggle down and then we go to color. Then we have different tones that are used. The iron seems to be easiest to read, for me at least. Finally, the temperature scale. It's set on automatic, and you can put this on manual, so you can change the range at which it shows a temperature gradient in the image. So if you want to do it manually, and then pressing up and down here, it'll go up and down for both the top end of the scale and the bottom end of the scale. Now if you just press on the right here, it'll do one or the other. So you can now select the one in white on the bottom, you can bring that down and the top one stays the same. And if you press right again, you can individually select the top one and you can maybe bring that temperature up further. Now if we go back to the settings, then we press it again, go back to auto. These are the main settings usually that one would use if you're doing an assessment of your house or building. You can get further into the detail if you're interested, but they are the easiest and clearest ways of assessing your building. Before turning off the device, you just check that you have closed that lens so the lens is nice and safe, and then press this button briefly and it turns off.